Well, either way, we now know that Donald Trump is the president-elect, 47th president-elect of the United States of America. And election night on social media was absolutely one of the most entertaining nights I think we've had in a long time on social media.
It typically is. No matter what president it's been. It's always been, whether it was Facebook to X, it's always nuts on election night.
I think going back, for what I can remember, maybe when Obama ran in 2008 was the first time I think social media was probably entertaining.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of my favorite tweets, even about this election, were referring to that time. They were like, damn, Obama would have had this. Obama won so fast, we'd be in the club before 11 o'clock. Like, it was just like, oh, shit.
Yo,
like,
I started to think about that. It was my freshman year of college when Obama was elected the first time I voted. We were out on the boulevard celebrating by like 10 p.m.
10
maybe.
o'clock. Yeah.
We were all outside.
I cried.
Like immediately.
I cried during that.
Yeah.
I cried too. I
couldn't believe it.
I cried.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Against
Like, I was like,
Romney,
there's no
Obama
way.
put up 332 electoral votes to 206. He smoked them.
But with Romney.
And then
That wasn't fair.
That was a cleanup. As far as Obama and McCain, yes, in retrospect, he mopped him easy. But it was still like, all right, a black man's running for president. We're not quite sure.
Yeah.
And then by 9:30, it was like, oh, what were we worried
Like, he's
about?
going to win. Me and Jesse Jackson was crying the same way.
I never thought I'd ever say this, but damn, I wish we could get someone like John McCain to run in this era. It's crazy how we hated so many people on the right. Like, McCain looked like the craziest candidate ever. Now I'm looking back like, damn, that'd be a great guy to
McCain
run.
was a great guy.
Like,
Yo.
God damn, I miss a John McCain type.
No, I still don't like the way y'all did my man Bernie Sanders though.
Yo, that shit.
I don't like the way y'all did
That's
Bernie.
why
I
I
still feel me and Bernie got to spin the block. I don't like the way y'all did
They
Bernie.
stole it from him.
I agree.
I don't even listen to when people who are hard Democrats start talking. I'd be like, well, I was campaigning for Bernie Sanders. Like, I was out on the front fucking
That did Bernie
line,
dirty.
bro.
I was feeling the burn.
But then
Sure.
he won what did he win the other night? He got elected as something.
Oh,
right?
well, he's still holding his seat in Vermont.
Got it. Okay.
Well, that's my problem. One of my many problems with the Democratic Party is they scream and profess their love for the democratic process, but then in our faces don't honor it when it matters to what they ultimately want to happen. So in this case, like Kamala just getting pretty much handed the candidacy for this election. And then when Bernie was the clear favorite, not even by voters' sake, by the donors' sake, they just pushed him out and chose Biden.
Yeah, they did Bernie wrong.
Bernie was too far.
They did him wrong. Bernie he would have won.
Yeah.
Bernie was a democratic socialist almost. So he was a little bit too far left.
Yeah.
And Bernie wouldn't have played ball. They
As-
didn't.
Why I like Bernie is the reason why I don't think he would have won. Like, even if you go back to the Hillary and Trump election, had you put Bernie there, I think he would have lost. Like, if you're going to look to win, Hillary would have been the right pick if you're not using hindsight.
Yeah.
And Biden as well.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Biden, he was probably like the last person to announce he was running for president. I feel like he did in South Carolina or some shit. And then all the polls completely shifted in one day.
Yeah.
So you saw who the people liked. I get it. I like Bernie Sanders better, but I don't know if he would win in this climate.
Well,
He'd be easily picked apart by the media as far as being the
for
social
sure.
communist that's going to ruin the entire world.
For sure. Well, I was looking forward to coming in here today because I wanted to
I know.
hear from the women and you know, they've been vocal on social media. They're blaming black men for this loss. We didn't go out and support a black woman.
See,
We're
that's not true.
misogynistic.
You see your timeline, the way your timeline is configured, everybody on my timeline is over here and across all social platforms because the numbers came out. Black men did what they had to do. Black men who wanted Kamala to be president, they did what they had to do.
No,
Black
but
men voted.
you do see the women online blaming.
They see
black
they're
men
not
for this.
blaming them for losing. What they are seeing is the few black men that did vote against Kamala. They're on their ass, but they're not saying they're the reason for the loss.
But why
Everyone is saying
why are
that
they
the
on their
Latinos-
ass though? Like it wasn't close.
Black
they lost
men-
the House, the Senate, everything went Republican. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
It wasn't even close. Like so, why are people even mad at any particular race or creed, like or gender? Like she got beat in every way possible. It was not close. And I told y'all this last week. We didn't air it, but I told you. I said, "Yo, this is not going to even be close."
Yeah,
I told y'all that.
You did. You were
I said, "This is not going to be close." I don't care which celebrities go out there and endorse Kamala. People don't care about that no more.
So you were asking, you wanted to know how the women felt.
Yeah. So Julian, how did they feel?
Am I've been tweeting a little bit.
First of all, Trump is now president, so there's no transgenders
right.
don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Pronouns don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
I'm a man
all of
again,
that is
Mom.
Andrew Tate said he's moving back to America. He said, "Thank God, men can't get pregnant anymore." They was going crazy. I'm like, yo, social media is going crazy.
Yeah,
right
I mean, it's clear white women and Latino men and women are lost this election. If you're speaking from the Democrats' side, and
5% of the country isn't defining what happened on election night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't think it was black men's fault.
Yeah, that's
By
a
any
ridiculous statement.
Yeah, nobody.
The black men, I believe, in the last election voted, I think it was 21% for Trump. That +2 he picked up this go around meant absolutely nothing to the grand scheme of the election total votes. Yeah, I mean, the Democrats have just run a shitty campaign. Kamala was never the right person. Biden should have announced he was not going to rerun over a year ago. They should have held a real primary and upheld the democratic process. And I still believe if they put a straight white man in the position against Trump, he would have won.
So you
they
think
spoon-fed us this narrative that Kamala was the person that she never was and put her out there to fucking get smoked. They made her look like I'm not.
But if you feel like
you're saying
that,
if they put a straight white man there, he would have beat
I
Trump.
think
Like you think Gavin Newsom would have beat
I
Donald
think if not beat, it would have had a better shot.
definitely a better shot. Don't get me wrong.
It would have been more
that's a different
competitive.
statement. That's
sure.
a different statement.
It would have been far more competitive.
Trump would have beat Gavin Newsom.
I mean, and there's no statistic
sure.
measure that Kamala gained that did better than Biden. She didn't outrun Biden in any electoral county and any vote metric. She got smoked across the board.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So to say that, well, this is the true sign that the country's racist, the country's that, the country's that. Yeah, there's some validity to those things, but you're not looking at what the party did to get to that point.
I think
the Democrats fucked this whole thing up.
That's what I want to speak to. It's not. Yes, do we feel like America is racist? Yes, we do. We don't have to. We know that. But I think more importantly,
misogynist too. Let's not forget that.
Misogynist, a bunch of other is and T's and shit like that. But I think more importantly, I think this election proved that the people are not just going for anything anymore. I think information is too available. I think that people know better. I think the last 4 years under this administration, a lot of people that voted for Biden, Harris before, a lot of them spoke out this time and said, I don't really like the way they handled these last 4 years. We're going to go a different way this year. And a lot of people are saying they feel like the Democratic Party needs to come more to the center now. So I think a lot of those things are true. It is good to see, people be vocal about wanting to see change and then going out and voting differently. Because, I mean, people are fed up. A lot of people can't afford groceries, can't pay their mortgages, can't pay their rent. Inflation, we know all of these things because we live in America, so we obviously feel a lot of these things as well. But I am glad that people went out and voted and decided like we need to just see something different. We may not be a fan of the other side. We may not be, a fan of all of their policies, but we need something to change. And I think America spoke about that and voted clearly.
Yeah, the problem with, there's so many, but one of the problems with the Democratic Party is they keep isolating themselves from the voting majority. Yeah. So there's this graphic I saw that was circulating a lot after the election, and it was an overlay of the most educated parts of the country versus where, education ranks for where the votes were coming from, whether it was Democratic voters versus, uneducated voters, which were usually in the red states. And it's like posting this, especially as a woman, doesn't help the case because the Democrats used to be the working class blue collar party. Posting shit like this just keeps calling the people dumb. Yeah. And it keeps separating yourselves from the majority of America. The problem is you don't need a fucking education to vote. Anyone can vote.
Or an
ID.
Stop
alienating.
An ID.
Yeah, you don't need shit. So you're alienating yourself from more than half the country. And you're like, well, at least I have a bachelor's degree and live in Williamsburg. Well, now you don't have the rights to what happens with your fucking body. Like, is that really a fair trade-off? Would you rather get the support from the people that are a lot more closer and akin to you than just alienating yourself as a coastal elite? It's so ass backwards. When we were younger, when I was a kid, like John Kerry, all the Democrats that I grew up seeing and supporting were the blue collar ass dudes. That is lost as a Democrat now. There are no blue collar people representing the Democrats.
Yeah.
And as far as the right goes, there isn't either, but at least they pretend.
Yeah.
At least somehow the poster child for New York billionaire now is a down-to-earth, relatable guy to the factory workers in Michigan. Like,
Yeah.
because they focused and listened to what people had to say.